looking at a Ford Fusion. This one's got a Jura torque engine, TDCI. I've got the cog light on the dashboard. I've already started this. The fuel rail pressure is stuck at 5 volts, just about. So here's the plug from it. I've removed the EGR. It's just dangling at the back. It was on there. I've removed the fuel filter as well. So that's not the wire we want, it's this one. The ignition's on. We're going to go across each of these wires and see what we've got. I've done this before when I was checking it before I got the part. Today I've got the part and I'm coming back. I'm just touching that and not stuffing it in there. 5.2 volts. And that's the green wire. The center one is the red wire. 5.2 I would say has got to be the supply. Center one's got nothing. Doesn't light up green, but it's got nothing. And the last one got 5.1 volts. So one of those has to be, one of those two has to be a power 5 volt supply, and the other one's got to be a 5 volt signal. So that we get into there again. I think this connector here is not very good, like the bit on it's just rotating in the end. So I got 5 volts on that end, and the other end is 5.1. So I would say it's the 5. I'd say the green one is the signal, and the blue one is the supply, because the voltage is slightly high on the signal, and the middle one's the ground. So we want to be sure that these are all good. So I'm going to use a test light. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to battery positive. I want to know that I've got a good ground. Yeah, that's good there. So if I go to the center one, we get that to light up. So that's a good ground. Now we're going to go back into these other two. Like I say, I'm not stuffing this in, just resting it on it. I don't show anything there at the moment, so I've not got a great contact. That's a bit better. 4.9. Does this light? I need to change this now. It's not good on the positive now. I need it on the negative. Let's test the test light first. It lights. I need that to show something on there. It's not doing, like I say, it's, that wire's gone to nothing there. I brought it down with this. It's not showing any volts. It's not lighting it either. The other one on this side, it dimly lights this, so that is the 5 volt supply. We know which one's the supply and which one's the signal. Like I say, this end and this ain't that good, so it's a bit frustrating, but that one is the supply and the green one is the signal. We know the signal works. We can pull it down. Where's the test light gone to? There. Doesn't light it. It's not got enough power, but it's gone to 0. It's not a bad ground though. This one's stuck at 5 volts all the time. I'll try and show you that. I'll go into the green one and plug this back in and show you that the green one is the signal and what happens when it's plugged in. Plugged it in. We're back probed on the pin. You see right down there? It's like got the red end on it. And there's the sensor screwed into the end of the fuel rail pressure. I'm back probed on the green. Got 4.79, so it's too high. If that's the pressure, it's too high. And I don't think that'll be the pressure. We could prove it by cracking off a fuel line. That would prove that it's not that. If it stays the same, but I don't think it's going to be holding that much pressure in there. I think it is actually a faulty sensor. And we know it's not about ground on the wire, on the sensor ground, making this high, because if we unplug it, that's coming from the engine computer. Down there, it's not coming from the sensor, it's not coming back from the sensor's 5 volts. So, We know the wire's okay, we know we can short it out, we figured out which one's which without a wiring diagram, and we know it's stuck, even plugged in, it's staying high, it should be bringing it down. I've got a new sensor because I'm here to do the job, I could just plug it in and show you. But I think I'll just crack open a fuel line to prove that it's not just got that pressure in the system. Look what happens when I plug the new sensor into here. We'll prove that it can go lower. That's plugged down. Now we're at a half volt with it plugged in on the green wire. So I know that this sensor's working, it's not shorted internally. This sensor is a pressure transducer. Similar test could be done if it's a position sensor, it's just this one's pressure. Now what I'm going to do, instead of trying to get a fuel line off because of where they're located, I'm just going to unscrew the sensor that I'm going to replace, and I'll do the test again on the old sensor. A 27 millimeter socket, a short extension, deep socket, and a ratchet. I managed to get into it down there. I've already changed it. Put the new one in to stop the fuel going everywhere. I've got the old one up here. I'll just rest it there and show you. Green wire. So there's obviously no pressure on it, and we're at 4.7 volts, so it's internally shorted in that sensor, so that just confirms it's faulty. We know the new one goes down to half a volt, and this is all because of the cog light that's on the dash, and the fuel pressure was too high. So that's how we're testing it. I wanted to just be a bit clearer in what I'm testing, because I think if I rush it, because it's raining, I'm trying to show that what I've done to fix it, but if I rush it and somebody doesn't quite see what I'm doing, so I've not explained it properly, they might think it's not been done right. But in this case, I've tried to cover it in a bit more detail. So it's this green wire, it's the signal, we're looking at half a volt with the ignition on. I'm going to switch that off now, save the battery. And the other thing I want to do is get my phone and my test stuff back in the van, because it doesn't do it very good, you know, being out in the rain. But this was just for the point of a video, so I'm going to pack up my electric stuff. And thanks for watching. Hopefully it's helpful to somebody. Cheers.